An in-depth look at the Jacob's Pillow site and its hidden symbology. First of all, looking at the Rosicrucian cosmography, the birds going to and from the fortress show it represents the ark. One interpretation of the ark symbolism is the egg. A brief mention should be made here that birds, or doves, especially in the context of messengers, as depicted, can represent extraterrestrial intelligence, and that the area the stone was located in is at the bottom of the Falkirk Triangle, an area marked by UFO sightings.
And here in Scotland, the countryside is littered with ancient standing stones, and the folklore awash with magic spells, demons and curses. So perhaps it should come as no surprise that for its size there are more UFO sightings in Scotland than any other country. In one region, over half of the residents say they've witnessed a UFO. And what's more, it can all be traced to a specific region in the heart of the country. With most sightings reported within an area between Falkirk in the north, Glasgow in the west and Edinburgh in the east, it's been dubbed the Falkirk Triangle.
Examining the area, a survey pillar is found by St. Catherine's Well, called Easter Fortisat. The number of the survey region, including the area of Jacob's Pillow, is 77, the same number that stands out in the 777 of Joseph Gregory Hallett's emblem. Furthermore, it sits on a land feature that resembles a boat, even similar to Noah's Ark in the Ararat Mountains. Fortisat is Finnish for fort, as that depicted in the cosmography. Easter is Ishtar or Asherah, the Queen of Heaven, Isis. So Easter Fortisat could be interpreted as the fortress of Isis, or that which is protected by Isis, as in the egg. Additionally, the Greek Diana, identified with Ishtar, was also known as the goddess of fortifications. An article published on the Hour of Time website details the connection of the egg of Astarte with Bethel, the place of Jacob's Pillow, as well as with the symbolism of the ark. Also, seen on the Trigpointing website, the marker links to the pillar draws a sighting line to Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh. Further, this land feature, also resembling an eye, is precisely where the eye would be located if looking at the UK in its resemblance to a rabbit, or as a figure as shown on the Trigpointing website, of a little green man, looking through a scope, through an eye also depicted in that area, as if the eye of the UK itself, in this case, looking toward Arthur's Seat, which will tie in again later. Examining the area for further evidence, another important feature is found, one that I was even expecting to possibly find based on other research. That being, the distinct shape of the Thames Loop quarry, as the leg of a bull, one of the clearest examples of the many I have seen, leaving no doubt that is what it is. Which you can see, going back through the historical satellite imagery of the site, that it was designed that way from the outset. The leg of the bull is the Boots constellation, or Ursa Major, and has deep symbolism that relates to the Priory of Zion, King Arthur, Merovingian law, as well as the goddess Diana, and Ishtar, connecting it with Easter symbology. To properly discuss the real meaning of the leg of the bull, however, an introduction must be made to the research of archaeoastronomer Wayne Herschel, who discovered a star map used by the elite that shows the origin of a certain bloodline, which he believes to be that of humanity, though is unfortunately wrong in many of his conclusions, even though correctly decoding many symbols, perhaps even by divine insight, as he himself claims, following his near-death experience. In his star map, the Pleiades, being the true interpretation of the leg of the bull, is a pointer to the star of the gods, within a trinity of sun-like stars. Many examples of the star map can be found on his website, and some places he does not list, most notably, Hyde Park itself in London, being the shape of a large leg of the bull. One of the main places the star map is seen is on the first-degree tracing board in Freemasonry, which depicts Jacob's ladder, with an arm delivering the Grail. The leg of the bull can also be symbolic of an arm, connecting it with the scimitar or cleaver, a symbol of the dove, identified with the crescent moon of the lunar goddess Diana, and Aleph, which speaks of the Kabbalistic path of the Fool, again showing the path of descent from the heavens to earth symbolized by the arm delivering the Grail from above. In this star map, the three sun-like stars form a triangle, representing the Grail, or womb of Newt. From this, a simple geometry is given, which can be looked for in places where a bull's leg is found, pointing to a nearby location. Later will be shown that the site Jacob's pillow was recovered from can also be confirmed this way, using the star map. In Thames Loop Quarry, the leg of the bull points to St. Catherine's Well, which is exactly equidistant to the marker, as the marker is to the leg. The angle has a 111-degree heading, a number not only connected symbolically with the leg of the bull and Hebrew letter Aleph, but is part of another triangle that involves Jacob's pillow, located in London. The London Triangle requires a separate study of its own, each point being connected with ancient Druidic altar stones, including the London Stone at 111 Cannon Street, within another triangle encompassing the Mayor's Mansion, the Rothschild banking headquarters, and the Temple of Mithra, which, to note, the cult of Mithra legend, is the severing of the leg of the bull. As well, it was the Templars who were involved in the worship of Baphomet, also known as Father Mithras, the bull-slaying deity. Going back to the Thames Loop Triangle, an interesting location is discovered at the third point. Exactly at the point is a little library post situated on a walking trail. This might have been passed off as a coincidence, except that it is decorated with the solar trinity triangle, as well as with Merovingian seashell symbols. This site should be searched inside and out, for secret compartments, messages in the books, etc. I believe it is highly likely something may be waiting there to be found. Looking at this triangle, it completes the imagery of the solar trinity. The eye, or Hebrew ayin, symbolic of the opening of the womb of space. There is, however, another leg of the bull, noticed after a recent video of Wayne's about the Karnak megaliths, which I believe verifies the site of Jacob's pillow. The shape he theorizes was used for the leg of the bull is reminiscent of the Roughrig Reservoir. Looking at different satellite passes, the full land feature becomes visible, showing a full leg of the bull shape. But what does it point to that confirms the location? Another survey pillar standing stone, called Black Hill West Abraco, with the designation 777. The standing stone on Black Hill is symbolic enough on its own, the same symbolism as found in Black Rock Corporation, or the Kaaba, the black cornerstone of Mecca, meaning the stone from Kemet, the Black Land, Egypt, also identified with the standing stone of Set and gateway of Darth, which can also be interpreted as Bethel, Jacob's pillow. To further the connection, the hill is also used for two transmitter towers, Darth being known as the place of the double tower. In a quick side note, the company who runs the transmitters, Arqiva, also has a tower directly between Thames Loop Quarry and St. Catherine's Well. Also, in the London leg of the bull, a perfect triangle is seen between the solar glyph of the Millennium Dome Arena, where the Greenwich Prime Meridian intersects London, and the Crystal Palace grounds. Arqiva also has a large transmitter there. A strange coincidence to have their towers at these key sites. Interestingly, Arqiva not only is involved in spearheading 5G in the UK and the infamous smart meters, as well as the new cloud technology, but it was also founded in 1922, the same year the Easter Moffat Golf Club was, a location that forms a triangle with the site of Jacob's pillow and the Black Hill Stone, revealing another connection with the Easter symbology, the theme being found throughout the area. Taking a final look at the star map correlation with the Jacob's pillow site, it is equal distance to the reservoir, as the pillar is. In the star map, the star behind the Pleiades should be closer, for example, where the circular reservoir is, that creates a solar glyph behind Roughrig. But to understand this placement of the stone, I believe the symbolism of Darth must be examined. Namely that Darth is a mirror that reflects into the phenomenal world, through Ursa Major, being the cleaver or scimitar, that creates the cleft, or division, symbolism also connected with the path of the Fool. This is again seen in Gregory Hallett's emblem of 777 being reflected through the water. Which to further the connection, as the reflection in the emblem shows the two teeth of the Hebrew shin. The shin, or trident, is also involved in this symbology and can itself represent the bull's leg. To take a quick detour back to St. Catherine's Well, an interesting connection is found that fits this symbolism. St. Catherine's name can originate from the lunar goddess Hecate, who is identified with Khorsar, the god of the deep, or waters of the abyss, whose symbol is the trident of Shin. The number of Shin is 300. It is no coincidence then that the few houses on the street are in the 300s, starting at 301, though the church itself is not a numbered address. Going back to the Jacob's Pillow site, another triangle can be drawn, revealing a third location that I believe further proves these correlations and leads to something even more important. Drawing a line from the bull's leg to the site of Jacob's Pillow, the third point of a perfect triangle lands on a house listed as a tea and coffee shop, named State of Lunaland. On the surface, very little information is found, with one recent review and a single black photo. But the address, 8 Cathburn Road, also listed as 8 Cathburn Holdings, is highly significant, being the one number that most relates to the symbology of the leg of the bull and of Darth. Starting with the solar trinity in the cosmography itself, the bottom star is represented by an octagonal tower, showing the number 8, which represents the height, or top. 8 is also the number of the Grail, as well as being connected with Hecate and the Path of the Fool. The number 8 is also in one of the locations in the London Triangle, where the Tyburn relics are housed, at 8 Hyde Street. While mentioning this location, another similarity must be noted. The actual location of the Tyburn tree, a block down the street, has a memorial marker, with the same spiral arm design as the Jacob's Pillow site, resembling the swastika, a symbol of the Hebrew Aleph, connecting it with the leg of the bull symbology. Also called the Master Builder's Grid in Egyptian architecture. The property of the State of Lunaland also has this same shape as the Jacob's Pillow site. Additionally, in the Arcana of Freemasonry, an explanation is given of the 3 feathers seen in the cosmography, related to one interpretation of the swastika. Identical with this explanation of the swastika is the planted family crest of the Merovingian Priory of Zion Law, described as the Great Bear encircling the pole star. In the area of the Jacob's Pillow site, this is seen in the 2 bulls' legs as the Great Bears, with St. Catherine's Well directly between them. And just as the reference to Arcadia is seen between the 2 bears, St. Catherine's Well can be shown to represent Arcadia, also showing an underground stream, symbolic of a hidden bloodline. Arcadia means paradise, or the state of the world in a golden age, which, as I will show, I believe is a meaning of the State of Lunaland. It should be noted also that the 1618 date in the cosmography is the first time the phrase "et in Arcadia ego" was used, in a painting by Giovanni Barbieri. This led to a discovery that the site of Jacob's Pillow solves the very riddle found in the Rennes-le-Château parchments, that Poussin and Tennius hold the key. Also, a poem associated with the painting by Tennius speaks of a stone, the dove, the Grail, and Good Friday, i.e. Easter, all symbols connected with the site, as seen earlier. Examining the works in question, the angle 13 degrees is found. First, most visibly in Poussin's Shepherds of Arcadia. In Tennius, Hermit's St. Anthony and St. Paul in the Desert. In Poussin's first edition of Shepherds of Arcadia. And Giovanni's Arcadian Shepherds. To solve this key, the mountains in the background must be examined. An idea stumbled across in an article by Josh Craker, comparing the mountains of Arcadia in the different paintings. From this it was realized that the mountain portrayed was possibly Arthur's seat in Edinburgh. The key that this location solves is the very location of the stone, which makes a perfect 13-degree angle if a straight line is drawn east, and the other to the point of the Arthur's Seat mountain. To further confirm this, in the cosmography, the angle of the hoist is also 13 degrees, and points directly to the mountain. And not only to the mountain, but to a dot under the word septentrio, which Google translates as Lithuanian, meaning septentrio, the Latin name of the leg of the bull, or bear constellation, Ursa Major and Minor, moving around the celestial pole, the same as depicted on the planted family crest. The arc atop the mountain then represents Arthur, whose name derives from this constellation, as does the word Arcadia, showing indeed that the mountain is Arthur's seat. Going back, however, in Poussin's Shepherds of Arcadia, the figure of Demeter, or Hecate, is seen, who can be symbolic of the power to install kings. Hecate is connected with the number 13, the number of woman, or of the goddess, associated with lunar symbology. What's more, in a related legend, Demeter gives a Pegasus with moon-shaped hooves, described as the native European pony, the power to install kings. While searching for the term Lunarland, a comic was found of that same name, written by German artists, about a Pegasus pony named Luna. In the description, Luna endeavors to create her own state, directly implying the name, State of Lunarland. It is a strange comic about her traveling by ship to find her own island, which she then aims to plunder of its treasures. This has deeply connected symbology, and I believe is an allusion to the Philippine Islands, and an ancient treasure vault containing supposedly trillions of tons of Dor gold, meant to be used in the creation of a new monetary system, and for the humanitarian benefit of the world. Continuing to look at the state of Lunarland's contact information, it can be shown to represent a star, both in the number 8, and the phone number, 220224, in a context in which the house also represents an island. To show how this island and star is the Philippines, a subject must be introduced, relating to a hidden movement of assets between the world's monarchies, involving more gold than is publicly stated to exist, and a trust fund that was set up to house it, originally for the aid of mankind. The fund is known by several names, including the International Collateral Accounts of the Global Debt Facility, the Alpha Omega World Development Marshall Program, the Trilateral Global Funder, or simply by the name of its umbrella account, TVM LSM 666. TVM and LSM being Tiburcio Villamor Marcos and his code name Leo Steve, the son of late President Ferdinand Marcos, declared in the legal documents to be the sole signatory heir. Officially, the trust was part of the European Recovery Program initiated at the end of World War II by George Marshall, though others say the program only used funds from it, that it was established in the 1850s by the Tsar of Russia, Alexander II, who created a plan to consolidate the world's wealth for the benefit of all peoples. While the documents of TVM show it started with Emperor Marcus Trajanus in the 1st century. One of the main narratives, however, is that José Rizal survived his execution and became the Jesuit Supreme General from 1942 to 46, giving him access to the world's wealth in the Vatican, which position he also used to convince the royal families to entrust their gold to him and his lawyer Ferdinand Marcos, for safekeeping after the war, and to keep it in sequestration for 50 years in the IMF and World Bank, which were created to administrate it in preparation for a financial reset in the early 21st century. It is also connected with the so-called Talano and Yamashita gold conspiracy theories, but as with most such theories, the truth is stranger than fiction. Global finance hiddenly hinges on this trust, but the only information about it has come from different claimants, none being easily verified, some possibly even imposters planted by the banking cartel or intelligence agencies in their effort to steal the assets. Nevertheless, the information provided between them forms enough of a picture, each revealing different details. Those said persons namely being Ray C. Dam, David Crayford, Karen Hudis, attorney Wolfgang Struck, the Tiburcio Marcos claimant, Queen Legaspi, fiduciary Anna von Reitz, and many others, including Neil Keenan, who claims to oversee the portion of the assets belonging to the Dragon families. One of the main commonalities is the outstanding numbers in the accounts, with documents showing balances in the tradecillions, dodecillions, and greater, exceeding the value of all global assets, which according to the affidavit of Tiburcio Villamor Marcos, is based on 13 vast treasure sites in the Philippines, one being an ancient Lemurian vault, with trillions of tons of gold from the inner earth. Another including over 1 billion tons of gold inherited from King Solomon. This number 13 is also integral to TVM and the Alpha Omega program in many other ways, TVM claiming to be the 13th ruler of the Qing dynasty, as well as the 13th and last Roman emperor. As pointed out in his affidavit, 13 is also the number of stars that form the Grail in Herschel's star map. The 8-pointed star, reflected in the state of Lunaland, is a symbol of Lemuria, said to be the Philippines, as well as the location of the Garden of Eden and land of Ophir from which Solomon amassed his gold, according to the research of Timothy Schwab and documents of TVM. From Timothy Schwab's The Mystery of the Three Kings, it is revealed that the star which appeared at Jesus' birth first appeared in the Philippines, over a cave of treasures in the Mount of the East, what is now Mount Haibok on Camiguin Island, also believed to be Eden. In Herschel's star map, the third star of the Trinity is also symbolized by this star of the East, with the descending pillar of light, further evidencing the state of Lunaland as representing the Philippines. The Philippines itself could be considered as Lunar Land, with many streets and locations named after General Luna, including 4 municipalities. Luna is even one of the very code words in the original treaty that governs the trust, known as the Bilateral Minesfield Breakthrough Successor Agreement, where another code is also found related to the accounts, 777, which TVM explains is a reference to his great-grandfather Nathan Mayer Rothschild, born 1777. 777 is also referred to by Queen Legazpi as the mother account, its full name listed in the documents as C1C2 1921 777. One site the TVM claimant reveals is in the Quezon Memorial Circle, under a nautical compass, similar to the symbol of the debt facility shown by Karen Hudis. An inventory list of one such treasure site was given to Karen Hudis by Wolfgang Struck, that includes 1.8 million tons of gold, said to be monitored on screens at JP Morgan Bank in Manhattan. Another is believed to be under Rizal Park in Manila. A map is also included in the documents released by the TVM claimant, showing one of the main vaults, called the General Sato or Golden Sato site. The map also calls it the Hidden Treasures of the Lost Kingdom of Ad Infinitum, a title explained by Queen Legazpi as a reference to the Philippines, ultimately including all land rights to the earth, and the supposedly infinite balance accounts connected with the trust, backed by the 13 treasure sites. This infinitum is symbolized by the number 8, once again relating the Philippines with the state of Lunaland. As well, the flag and seal of the Philippines itself shows the solar trinity, with the 8-pointed star. The focus here, however, is on the Lemurian treasure site, the main one being the Octagon or Octopus Tunnel, a connection itself back to the Jacob's Pillow site and tower in the cosmography. To further the connection, one claimant of signatory power over the accounts, Luisito Yoyonko, gives further information about the main tunnel, that it is the legendary lost city of gold, and that the center of the city is called Garrison 13, and Tunnel 8, the very two numbers in question from the Jacob's Pillow site.
This goes back, according to the information, back to Lemuria, the lost city.
The lost city.
Okay, so go ahead and give us a quick overview as quickly as you can. There's so much history here, and it goes into King David, King Solomon, all of these historical assets and gold, the Golden City, all of those type of things. So please give us an overview of where this came from and how ultimately you received your position. Go ahead.
That volume of stock comes from the former Dr. Rizal, according to the history. But actually, that is the lost city that makes the changes of the whole world when the whole world will be flooded, and it was lost, the city. Now it was already discovered. Then we will use it for recovery of the financial crisis for the whole world, and we are very willing to use it in a good way. And the mother account backup was already discovered here in the Philippines, and that is the lost city or Lemuria or the octopus.
The octopus tunnel.
Yes.
And that you're referring to different tunnels.
Yes,
Such
different
such as the octopus tunnel, the Jakarta tunnel,
Yeah.
and then next.
And this is the plan of the Lemuria signed by Emperor last August 8, 2016.
Okay, so
The
August 8th,
Lemurian,
that's
the
upside down.
Lemurian plan.
That's the Lemurian tunnel.
Tunnel. This is the Lemurian
And
tunnel.
and here's the signatures
Yeah.
of the emperor.
Yes, the sign of Emperor and the stamp. This,
Okay.
and this is a part of a different rooms under Lemuria.
There's another tunnel, octopus.
Yes, Lemuria and Octopus was only one plus Lost City, and this
The
is the
Lost City.
and this is the center of Lost City, called the Tunnel 8 or Garrison 13.
Garrison 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe the octopus tunnel and what you explained to me earlier?
The octopus tunnel has 7 legs, and in the end of every 7 legs, there is another 7 area in every end of the legs. It means octopus is 8 legs, but it is only 7, and the head of the octopus is the number 8.
Okay. And that is the master tunnel
Yes, the master,
holding the
Yeah.
majority of the assets.
that is the main tunnel that we will use, and the holding the all assets. And this is the signature and sealed by the emperor that the tunnel is existing and real. The FA certification that the document is real and registered certification from the FA. And this is the another years.
Several documents related to the Lemuria site are provided by the TVM claimant, said to be signed during the 1966 Manila Summit Conference, where the name of another claimant is found, Judge Morris, Atilano Zapanta Talabas. His son Bobiolite, who claims legal ownership of all land and national flags, reveals a full copy of the Dodecalion certificate. Another 300 Dodecalion plaque version is supposedly kept in the Order of Malta Tala Foundation. In Bobiolite's letterhead, the term Pearl Moon Paradise is found as a reference to the Philippines, the Pearl of the Orient, drawing a further connection to Lunaland as both paradise and the Philippines. An article about the Lemurian connection was posted by the TVM claimant, explaining some of the details, where it is seen that 777 could also represent Lemuria, with 7 rivers, 7 mountains and 7 subcontinents. Another article relates that Noah's Ark even ties in as well, that it started in the Philippines and floated to Mount Ararat. Together with it being symbolic of the new world or golden age they want to create, this is another possible reason for the Ark in the cosmography. Another interesting 777 connection is found in a letter from Ferdinand Marcos, titled My Fighting Faith, the Legacy of the Lost Cash and Gold, in which he calls the divine number 777 the only solution, only awaiting the key, a right person at the right time with the right objectives. A related document is found, said to be a key for the redemption of the funds, though its authenticity is uncertain. There are many other facets to the global assets and accounts, with many other claimants. Many even with Christian care for the poor, but corrupt officials seem to be ignoring any claims. It is the belief of this author that perhaps the same divine guidance by which Gregory Hallett found the stone may play a role, many of the claimants believing the assets are divinely protected, awaiting the right time. Queen Elizabeth was one of the major signees giving force to the Alpha Omega program, so maybe if the rightful ruler of the British Commonwealth becomes involved, something could happen in unlocking the assets. Going back to the state of Lunaland, several last findings worth mentioning were made. It is seen that the sign on the property says the word stone. Looking into this, it was found that a house across the street also has a sign that reads, Knoll Cathburn Holdings, referring to a survey marker named Knoll Top or Hill Top. Together this might be interpreted, stone on the hilltop, that is, the capstone of the pyramid, which might be a stretch, but a reason otherwise for the sign to say stone is not apparent, unless in reference to Jacob's pillow. And while looking at knoll top, another possibly related anomaly in the immediate area must be noted: 3 old pillars in a triangle on a nearby hill, with markings or glyphs etched on them. This would be an interesting location to visit, to see what the markings are, whether there is any connection to the rest of the symbology. Other findings include this 1527 painting by Antonio de Correggio, titled The Mystic Marriage of Saint Catherine, also showing the 13-degree angle, furthering the connection with the well and with Hecate seen earlier. And finally, after compiling this video, I returned to the area on Google Maps for one last check, and the name of the location has been changed to Headquarters of the World, listed as an embassy. Just as oddly, there was a new review of someone saying they hate it, with a picture of a kid in a grade school class, posted only several hours before I saw it. I am not sure what to say of this. I suppose it is possible some child is messing around, but it would be an unimaginable coincidence for it to be happening at this one location in question, with all of the coinciding symbolism surrounding it. Further investigation is surely warranted.